Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Perfectly Imperfect Spiritual Podcast. Today we have 60th episode. And for those who are new to the podcast, I am your host, Marta, psychic medium, spiritual mentor, mother, intuitive explorer, and constant believer that the real magic comes when we stop trying to be perfect and finally allow ourselves to be human. Before we begin today's conversation, I want us all, you listening, me here and watching, and our beautiful guest Anja, to come into present moment. And if you can place a hand on your heart, soften your jaw, relax your shoulders, and take a slow breath in and a long breath out. And imagine your energy settling into your body, into your belly, into your chest, into this moment. Beautiful. Let's begin. Today, I am joined by the radiant and deeply grounding presence of Anja Simmons. Hello, Anja. So
Hello.
nice to see you.
Lovely
Uh,
too.
I am going to read your bio and then we'll have that imperfectly perfect conversation. But from what I have seen, your work embodies softness, strength, and safety and soulful connection. So I'm going to introduce you. Um, so, the way Anja introduces herself. Hi, I'm Anja, a yoga and meditation teacher, Reiki practitioner, and intuitive guide passionate about helping others reconnect with their inner wisdom. I love holding space for women to slow down, breathe deeply, and rediscover their strength and softness through mindful movement and energy work. My approach is heart centered and grounded in the belief that healing begins with presence, connection, and self love. Whether we are sharing space on the mat in meditation or during a women's circle, my goal is to create a nurturing environment where you feel seen, supported, and inspired. And then we have the beautiful, surprising ending. One of her most memorable out of comfort zone memories was when she starred in the Vagina Monologues. It was exhilarating considering vagina wasn't even a common word in her and I think in so many other people's vocabulary. Welcome, Anja, to the podcast.
Thank
I'm so
you.
happy
Thank
to
you.
be
I'm
here.
looking forward to chatting with you.
Let's see where this conversation takes us. Well, I feel like it will be nice for you to talk about, well, any entry points, anything that you would like anything about your spiritual wellness journey. How did it begin? Like, what led you into yoga, meditation, Reiki, and intuitive work?
Sure, sure. Um, it was actually having children that got me to be more aware of my body. I think I was just this head, and still often am. I can be just running around, and anything underneath the chin down was just coming along for the ride, right? And so when I had kids, yoga was just starting around where I live, and I dabbled a little bit. I found a lot of it I was quite skeptic to oming or putting your hands together or
Mm,
certain parts of it. But what I did start to notice was how amazing I felt at the end of class. So I
mm,
didn't necessarily like a lot of it during the beginning, and then but afterwards I think, wow, it's like you've just landed back in your body. And so that's kind of where it grew. And then I took yoga for maybe 4 or 5 years, same day, same week with this incredible teacher. And I could just kind of started to realize the yoga off the mat, that piece of bringing it into the day, to be like you did at this lovely centering, to get in the car before I pick up my kids. And I would not even really be in a hurry, but I noticed my shoulders up by my ears and I'm gripping the steering wheel. And it's like, okay, there's no fight or flight here. You can just be in this moment and come back to the breath. And so it was the yoga journey that made me sort of more aware of what I bring to the table, in my energy. And that was a big twist in terms of it was really important to me to parent consciously. And I actually came into parenting. I was a trained British nanny. Back in England, we have the NEB. And so I had nannied and taken care of lots of kids. And we were definitely, I'm sure it's changed now, hope it's changed. It was never about the child, really. It was about the process. So every child, here's what we do. This is how we, when you go to bed, this is how we always eat. And so I just thought parenting, my crazy self, thought parenting would be easy. I've done it so many times. And it was this whirlwind of deep, deep awareness, self-awareness, knowledge, aware of, oh my gosh, why is this making me angry? And then looking at that, or why is that doesn't seem to matter to me too much, yet everybody's saying that should really matter, that they should sit at the table and eat with knife and fork, you know. And so that was sort of the beginning, I guess, the yoga part. And I actually wrote a book about it, about how yoga changed the way I parented, because it was so astonishing to me how much of what comes in yoga, and I'm not this is not my tradition. I've sort of been learning it as I've gone along, and the philosophy side and the scriptures is so beautifully powerful, and seeing how that really relates to always your own self-learning. We realize that it's not about the kids, it's about us, you know. It's our journey and what we bring, and just leave them alone, let them find their way, you know. And that's hard. That's really hard to do. So yoga opened my eyes to all of that. I went on then to train and become a yoga teacher, and I was teaching kids in school, I was teaching seniors, sort of the whole gamut, and lots of mums in between. So that's kind of, I guess, where it landed me. And then the Reiki piece, I did it as part of my yoga training, but I was quite a skeptic. I thought, well, this is a little bit weird. And my mom is actually a Reiki practitioner, or has the training. And even when she would do it, I would think, I don't get it, but something was leaning me there. Something feels good, you know. And more recently, when I trained as a yoga teacher, I bring Reiki into some of the classes we would do. And now really the past year or so, it kept calling me back. And that's where I've now started also a Reiki practice that people can come and have a session. And that has completely blown my mind. That's taken me to another spiritual opening, gate opening, heart opening. It's been incredible.
And I love how our life journeys can be, or frequently are, unpredictable, but exciting, how they really develop and how various things come together. Well, I'm curious, what have you learned about yourself through yoga, and what have you learned about yourself through parenthood, motherhood?
So much. Like, wow. It's like so much of it I had no idea. I had no idea of my value, my worth. I had no idea the power as a parent we have over our children, you know, and not necessarily in a good way, but like our thoughts and our beliefs, and we just put it all on them, and this idea that we want them to succeed to make us feel good. Oh, I'm a good mum, look how polite my kids, you know, and all that nonsense that's sort of none of our business. So that was a big, deep learning. I also this is the big one, was that I always came across as this chilled, laid back, oh, whatever. And I believed that for so long. And then I realized that was just a coping mechanism. I was actually full of anxiety and fear, huge, from throat to belly to all of that. And I was actually more parenting from that place, trying to cover up, trying to pretend it was all okay, you know. And so in answer to your question, like the practice of it was, which came through, definitely through yoga, was that my voice matters, and that I can say no, that I can start to put boundaries up that in situations that are not good for me. Even with the children, you know, I just felt like, I never wanted to put guilt on them. I never wanted to put shame on them. But, you know, you're human, and it's still there, you know, and learning that their journey is not mine, nothing to do with me. I'm here to be the safe space holder. There's so many decisions they make, mine are young adults now, or adults, that I don't agree with, that I want to go, no, but this is a better way, mommy knows best. And of course kids are like, oh, these now, they're like, I don't know, I am not them, I am not them. And that was huge lessons I had no idea about.
I love it. Do you think we can talk about slowing down, about being present? Like, what does slowing down mean to you? And why is slowing down so difficult for so many? Well, I want to say women, but maybe in general for everyone.
For many of us, can speak actually just for myself, but from clients and friends and my own mom talking to, we're all about the doing and not the being. Right. And so we are already, and sometimes it feels like you have to, especially with your kids, right? So that you're like, I could pick them up at this time. Do they have the gym bag? Have they got lunch? And I could wake up or think about before I go to bed what the lunch is going to be, and things that are so, it's not irrelevant. I don't want to say that, but it would cause anxiety in there of this constant thinking. And kids really just need you to be present and in the moment. The same as when you're talking to somebody. We all know if we're talking to someone and they're looking everywhere, checking their watch, they're doing, and I know menopause has definitely helped this for me, be more conscious of what energy I want to bring to a situation and what energy I want to be around, you know. And so there's always a learning and always a choice. And I realize if we aren't slowing down is often thought of as such a negative. And yet you realize nature has it right. Why is it like polar bears in hibernation, trees losing their leaves, you know, like spring, everything blossoming and coming up again? There is a cycle. And to honor that in yourself. And that was a big awareness to me. I used to find the beginning of yoga, I had some great teachers, of just breath work and being still. And for myself, even in meditation, it took me a long time before I could be comfortable. Because you know what, Marta, your true self shows up when you're still. We can hide it. We can be busy. We can do all these things. But your real self, your real truth, it's in the quiet. It's in the slowing down. It's in the sitting with yourself by not doing, right, on our phone, watching something. All of those things, great. But in terms of really making choices from a whole full body connection, as opposed to here, which has all our judgment, all our life, all of society, all up here jabbering around what's right, what's not, right? So I think the slowing down is crucial for kids too, not just for adults.
And what advice would you give, or any useful tips for anyone who is used to doing? I'm just thinking, well, something that has popped into my mind. I went through lots of trauma, lots of abuse in my life. And I used to do yoga during certain periods of my life. But I remember initially when I was still operating in the fight and flight mode, I wasn't able to do too much of yoga because being still, it felt as if I was almost like being forced, and it was imposed on my body. So I needed more like somatic exercises, and I needed, well, I can only again speak for myself, but I realized that by moving gently my body, I can become present in my mind, but I wasn't able to be completely still. So I'm curious, what advice would you give to, it doesn't mean whether someone had to go through trauma, but for those who are used to doing, or maybe they went through some adversities and they're still operating in that high alert mode, what can they do in between? So that one day maybe they'll be absolutely fine and okay being in stillness in terms of mind, but also body.
Yeah, great question. Really great question, because it isn't for everybody. It really isn't. And I think being kind to yourself about what is it, like listen, like you going to those places and going, this isn't working for me, right? Finding something that is, like maybe a run is meditative, right? Going for a run, maybe swimming, maybe, something, using your body is so important to kind of get out the mind, right? So even going for a walk, slowing down in that way, that when you walk, you're purposely like trying to be conscious about your steps, conscious about the surroundings. Don't be on the phone, don't have your earphones into music, right? It's all those tips, but I think the importance is really that self-regulation and learning about yourself, what works for you. Sitting still was torture for me. I actually hated it. At the beginning of yoga, I'd think, okay, get on, come on, let's move. And even now, I'm really quite impatient. I'm surprised at myself being a yogi, being into Reiki. But my natural thing is that more of a whirlwind of like, okay, you know, you see on social media, if someone's talking too long, you go, oh my God, just get to the point. You know? And it happens, so it's, you know, part of what you're born with, right? But there's I think also part of that question you asked would be kindness. Can you show yourself really good, deep kindness and compassion? Because you do things at your pace, what feels good for you, what works for you. I mean, it's important at times to kind of, I don't like the word push particularly, but explore being out your comfort zone, being vulnerable. That is so hard for many, many of us. We weren't taught that. And vulnerability is, as Brene Brown says, right, the really courageous act. And even with our kids, can we be vulnerable, right? Not sharing all our stuff, all our baggage, but just, you know, if I felt like I was extra hard on one of my kids, or, you know, it took a lot for me to come back and say, that was actually more about me than you, and I'm sorry. And be in the presence of just like, oh, I messed up. Whoa, I totally made a wrong call here. You know, being real, right? And you can only do that if you can do that for yourself. Although having kids, because I would think most parents want better for them, right? Rather than just go, this is how we do it. This be like, this is how we do it. This is the way. I'm not changing. You know. Does that serve everybody in the future? Does that serve them? Because you see, with having two, I have two as well, they're very different, and their approaches and what they need from around them is very different, right? And then you think, what about us? I'm married 30 years, but we are so different. Our approaches are so different. I think the bottom line is what we want from life is the same. I'm hoping that's still there. But it's this... we just assume so much that somebody else needs, like, even if I think Reiki is the best thing or yoga is the best thing, for me, I still have to say for me. And there's loads of tools I can offer an approach, but it might not be for you. And can we all be okay with that?
I love it. What about learning how to listen to our bodies? And well, how do you support your clients who feel disconnected from their bodies? Or maybe there are some of your clients who are not even aware that they're disconnected, and they have no idea what it means to be connected, and what wisdom can our bodies tell us?
What I found for that, outside of the yoga, is the Reiki. What is I've found so fascinating with the Reiki side is your mind's not engaged with it at all, the client, right? And so we're dealing with energy that after their thoughts or their words are always like, what was that? You know, and it's that opportunity to just switch off the mind, even if we can for like a Reiki session, even if we can for something. That's when you can hear, right? You can hear better, you can listen better. There's more clarity. I mean, really listening, I find that hard too. So often my clients and myself will think, oh, what's the answer? What's the best decision? What's the best decision? But that's still up here. Right? And we're so good, and we're all so smart, and we're good at being practical. And the switch to that is, okay, but what feels right? And Marta, you for sure must know of the times for yourself where you're like, you make a choice and it just feels right. Your whole body is in alignment. You feel grateful suddenly. You can see the birds singing. It feels almost magical, you know. And when you make those decisions that you feel you should or you have to, there's many that we have to, there's life's that toilet still needs cleaning, laundry still needs doing, my dog needs walking, even if it's pouring with rain, right? But it's an ability to really, when we listen in, and there's so many techniques about that, of what is the right decision for me. And I didn't know that. When people used to say to me, what would do you, if I say, oh, I really don't want this. Yeah, but what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
No idea. I've never thought that I had an option. I had an opinion.
Mm-hmm. This is everything. And it's such a common statement as well, in terms of, like, in my world as well. What has popped into my mind is, especially with the clients who want to manifest, but then when you ask them, what do you want? Oh, I don't know, I've never thought. I'm like, so how do you expect your angel spirit guides to really help you? You have a free will, so first of all you have to tell them that you want help, but like, if you don't know and your mind gets scattered, they're just waiting. Yeah. Could you talk
It's
about?
very true. And I think, sorry to interrupt there, that what do I want is just so many layers you've got to go through to really figure out what do I want, and it's the same when you parents say about, oh, I just want my kids to be happy. Really? Really? Yeah, like, that's a bubble. That's not, let them be in the world. They will be hurt, and they will be upset, or they will be angry, or things won't go their way. They won't get the job they want. Like that's so peripheral, like on the surface. Yeah, I would like to be happy all the time too. It's not real. We're in this little world. And so, yeah, this, what do I want? And I think when you don't know, coming back to your previous question, actually, it joins in is to find stillness, find quietness, find a way to draw, to paint, to walk, to make bread, to, I don't know, boil spaghetti, like whatever you're doing, try to have your head there. Feel your feet on the floor, right? That's a great way of coming into the body, right? Notice your socks, notice your shoes, notice what's underneath your feet, like really feel that. And that might be a brief second, but it dropped you from your head into the body, to be open to listening to you. What lights you up? What makes you excited?
And do you think bringing our attention to our body then is that, well, I'm sure there's no one answer, but one of the answers of how we can really find out with kindness what is it that we really want? Because for anyone who's watching it or listening, I wouldn't want anyone to be stressed. Okay, now I have to really figure out what's behind that. I really need it. I need the answers now.
Yeah, I love that. I wish I had answers right now all the time. Yeah, for me it has been, and for many clients it has been, this in the noise of life, and we all have so many balls juggling in the air, you have to sort of sift through some of that. And you might think you like something and you start with that, and then, no, not really, that's not fulfilling me, or moving on. And I guess it's gratitude is a huge one, right? Gratitude and kindness. I think those are two massive places to start. As soon as it causes stress, right? As soon as you get, that's you back in your head. That's back in fear, perhaps. That's back in some hidden something. It's past, future, right? But right here, right now, if we keep going, right this moment, right here, right now, all is well. And being able to, 1,000 times a day, come back to that moment. You're driving the car, you're sitting at the lights. Can you just notice if you're breathing? Can you find your breath, right? Can you feel it in your belly? Can you feel it in your chest? It's all tiny little moments that, and I love the phrase, I forget, that your life is unfolding as it should be. I forget where that's from, but can we trust that? Right? Can we be open to that even? Can we, and that's hard. It's hard to give up the trust, to give up the control, sorry, to open to trust, to kind of just hold on and say, but this is how it should be, and be okay with, well, it's not. Can I still be okay with that?
Mm. How did you learn to listen to your intuition, and how do you guide others to tap into their inner sense of knowing?
Yeah, it totally is those things of mind-body connection, breath work. What has been unfolding for me in my Reiki sessions has been so fascinating to me, because my practical mind has to get out the way in order
Mm-hmm.
to receive. And I've started to feel animal spirits coming in and messages from their loved
Mm-hmm.
ones, or just something, a message of something they need right now.
Mm.
Same with guidance cards, we use a lot of to help you also come to right here, right now. And trusting in those messages. I think we do a lot of that. The breath work is a huge piece. I didn't realize for years and years that I just didn't breathe, other than the tiny sips I take along the way, And
Mm.
only, when you sit on the couch at the end of the day and you do, sometimes maybe
Mm-hmm.
you've been holding your breath practically the whole day, and noticing how that affects the rest of your body.
Mm.
What I love about the yoga movements and poses and shapes, whatever you want to call them, also allows for some of this opening that is not mind-based. When you're out of the mind, I don't know if you know enough about yoga, but like, say you're doing a tree pose, everybody seems to know that one. What if you're really there in the moment? If you really feel your feet supporting you, if you feel the crown of your head reaching away, if you feel
Mm-hmm.
your breath in your ribs, it can all be little seconds of it. It just gives your body an awareness of maybe safety, or awareness of being in that present moment. A lot of different breath work I use. I teach seniors chair yoga, and often it's getting the moments of getting them out their mind, and so by, I don't know, we would use the breath, or we use the body to do different activities across the body, like something that you have to concentrate on takes you out, right, for a moment, and lets your brain go, okay, I can come back to all those to-do list, but right now I'm just going to be with you.
Mm-hmm. Could you talk about your energy work for anyone who's perhaps new to it? Because I know we frequently talk about Reiki, but what is it really? How does your energy work? If you can take us through the process, anything, because we sometimes assume that everyone is going to be aware of everything, but I sometimes like to dive into those concepts.
I love it. Absolutely. So in the way, so with Reiki, you get attuned to Reiki by a teacher, is the official way. People can work on. We know that if we rub our hands together and take them a little apart, you start to feel something. And so we're saying that's energy. That's what you're feeling, right? And so for an actual session, first we chat, right? What are you here for? And then they would lie down fully clothed. I think people like that as well. Get cozy on the table. And then it's a tuning into my guides, my ancestors, my support system. I feel that first. And then I call in the clients. Could be ancestors, spirit guides, angels. Like for me, it's always working with love. Like, who loves and fully supports this person? Come on in. Let's do this together. And then I would move my hands over the body to allow different. And I work mostly with hot and cold. So where there's heat somewhere, it's often Reiki is needed in that space. And when it cools down, I can move on. There's certain points you place your hands in Reiki, but there's also, I throw out the rules and just let yourself be guided. We work with chakras, opening up our chakras, which is some real yoga, from yoga. It's got lots of traditions have chakras within them. You can notice whether their power feels gone, or they're a bit stuck somewhere, or everybody's head is boiling, with all the thoughts, and how to get down to the feet. If someone's got some pain somewhere, we work with the Reiki energy there. And it's bringing harmony and balance back into the body. It seems to be the guide. And for me, now I can feel quite confident to say, it felt very odd at the beginning that an animal guide comes in, and it's been a different one for everybody. And I'm kind of like, hello. It's a bit strange. And, when we've tied that into a guidance card I've picked ahead of time, it's just incredible how synchronized and aligned it is, and how it seems to really speak to the client. So that's sort of kind of if you're talking through a session, there's often tears. Many times the body's just releasing, and you can just, they fall asleep. It's really, for me too, for the giver as well as the receiver, it seems like a very sacred, beautiful experience that we share.
And what can Reiki help with for anyone who doesn't know, like, when would I need it? Like,
I feel now feeling really strongly about it. We all need it on a regular basis. It's a energy healing. And so it can be grief, it can be insomnia, it can be heart problems, it can be depression, not able to sleep, anxiety, like really for so many things. It's basically like, I like to think of it as, you're dirty, you've like been to the gym, you've worked out or whatever, and then you take a shower and it just cleanses it all away. It feels in, a certain way like that, like you're just ridding the body of things it doesn't no longer serve, it doesn't need to carry. For many of us who, just life in general, right? Having had a life of people and things, it's a really powerful experience. And it doesn't just show up on the table. Many people have said, 3-4 days later, an awareness comes, or they have just felt an overwhelming need to just cry, and they don't know why. Well, it's all energetic releases. So it's really, there's no bad energy to it. There's nothing negative ever at all. Like everybody I know who does Reiki or teaches Reiki, or that we're not in that realm. It really is pure light and love. And so there's nothing to be scared of. Nothing shows up that, it's always in the best and highest good of the person. Which is lovely. Wouldn't it be great if we walked around and all we wanted to transmute to the world was the best and highest good for everybody, including ourselves?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And what are the biggest misconceptions about Reiki or energy work? Anything that you would like to comment on?
I'm finding that people really have not heard of it where I am as much, or don't. It really is a misunderstanding. They don't understand what it's about, so it doesn't feel like going for a massage feels really wonderful, and people will do that. And I'm trying to get more people to realize it's kind of like that, but it's on a deeper level. Like it's the body, the way we feel, the way we are handling ourselves. It's that kind of stuff. I mean, I love a massage, so don't get me wrong. But it's, the misconception, I think it's just not so known, or it feels very woo-woo, very out there. And I felt that too. I totally felt that too, And so I think more people are tuning in, though, to it, because finding different ways, how do I help myself? I'm feeling so overwhelmed, so burdened, so chaotic. What things can I do for myself? And Reiki would be a great tool in there to support you.
Thank you. Can we talk about your women's circle or any? I'm curious about those, and the word safety comes to my mind. Like, how do you teach your students to feel safe, to create that sense of safety?
It's fully showing up and being present as the guide, right, as the person there, and then being open to what needs to show up. I hosted yoga retreats before where these circles were definitely a big part of it. allowing everybody to arrive as they are. And so it's more, I feel it's that setting that intention and holding space are two areas that I absolutely love. And I feel that we all want to be seen. We do all want to be heard, and from kids, right? That to just be, they don't need a lot of time, but just a present moment. And I think it's the same as we've gotten older. Again, mentioning menopause, that sort of stage of things, a lot of changes are happening for many women. And being able to be like, yeah, I see you. I feel that, or I know that. So much judgment, right? And so much shame inside us and around us, and we feel it too. That to come to a place where you're like, oh, whew, can let my guard down a moment. I can put aside real life, perhaps, what that's causing a lot of things, to come back to myself. Tapping into, like we say, gratitude, gratitude is kind of thrown around all over the place, but we all know moments where something will just catch you. Flower, right? I love nature, so mine is that. Oh, my dog is a big pain, and she's just so cute. And the 20th time I've stood up to let her outside, and she'll just do a certain look, and you're like, aww. So all of those moments create the holding space in yoga classes, in women's circles. I work with a good friend of mine as well, where she does intuitive guidance circles as well. And yeah, it's we need community. I think that's what I'm trying to build more into where I am now. I have a space as well that to start to build up more of let's just hang out, let's just see where we're at, and being amongst people who are also trying to figure out life. That's amazing. Nobody has it all together, like nobody. So it's good to remember that.
And there's something powerful about healing together, witnessing one another. Could you talk more about the importance of being part of a community that feels right, a community that's supportive? What can happen? What magic can happen?
Yeah. Well, I have been a part of some of those things, that it's being with people who are similar. I mean, we're all different, but yeah, being witnessed to, like you said. And then the power, to me, the power part is just how we then show up out of that, right? It's always like I always talk about yoga off the mat. So you have those moments, that hour and a half connection. My yoga community was huge for me for many, many years. And just being part of people who are seeking and believing and loving and finding joy, where they can. That's so uplifting. Like to be inspired by somebody who is, the shit they're going through, and they're still showing up each day, or willing to see their own false sense, I love that. And for me, it is also all with women. There's a place that we're really looking to open, to be with our true selves, find our true selves, and find another layer that you're no longer going to keep. That's inspiring to me. That is inspiring of anybody anywhere on their journey. Just like, wow, look at you, right?
I love it. Well, can we talk about the Vagina Monologues? Tell us the story. How did you end up doing it? And what did that experience awaken within you? Since we are talking about working with women, and also like spending time with other women, I feel it can be very empowering.
That's right. It was so weird that was somehow included in the bio.
Yes.
Completely. It was a cut and paste, and I left that by accident. So it was really weird. I've never done any of those kind of things. And I had been that year or the year before to actually see the Vagina Monologues, which is this incredible, powerful play, monologue play. Lots of women coming up and speaking a monologue. And Eve Ensler is the one who wrote it. And I had seen it, and I would still feel very giggly about the word vagina. And oh my God. And I remember my friend and I going into the play at the beginning going, oh, I don't know. I don't even like, I say, I'm going to the monologues, you know, like God say the word. And so that's where I was, still very childlike. And I regularly come up to, I want to push myself out my comfort zone. Right. And I think it's very easy to stay safe. And I knew that I really loved the idea of being on stage, of speaking. And I always thought I'd be speaking about parenting, that conscious parenting. So I was on the beginning journey of that. And I just saw an audition for the Vagina Monologues. And I thought, right, I didn't want to be in it. I wanted to audition. I wanted to stand and audition. And I actually told no one. And I'm a blabbermouth, so it was unusual that I didn't tell people. And I go there, and I had to read a part. And I thought, oh my gosh, the part I read, it's very saucy, you know. And it was all very sort of just for fun. And afterwards, I felt so pleased, like, wow, look at that. Like, I did it. I got on stage with a mic and I spoke. And then when they called me and said, you've got the part, I was like, what? Oh, no, I don't think I can do it. I think I can say what you just had me say on stage with nobody there, you know. And then Marta, wow, what an experience. I, to be honest, probably cried for the whole 6 months I had to learn this. I felt absolutely out my comfort zone. I had so many words to memorize too that I was like, there's no way I can do this. And then I was around, again, incredible women whose monologues, all from Eve Ensler, were just so powerful. And I'm a big fear. I feel it, or I would cry through rehearsal too. It's just a release for me, you know. And then I was so lucky, my lovely sister who lives in different country to me, every day more or less she would help me go through this monologue and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And having somebody really stand up in that corner, I don't think I could have done it otherwise. And then having people come out and seeing it and being part of that was phenomenal. Just a huge growth spurt, like you say, a huge comfort, a huge boost to me. No, I'm not just the wife and the mom and the cook and like, wow, this is for me. And what was fascinating, because I always want to send that message to my kids, to be out your comfort zone and try things that you don't know, and all of this. And they would see me in this turmoil. I'm like, I can't say this. Oh my God, I had to say clitoris. I had to pretend to look at my vagina in a mirror, like, oh my God, you know, there's no way. And still bloody showing, working hard and doing it. And it was, my daughter was going to come and her friend. And my husband was like, why didn't you just do a musical? You know? And my son too, what would he have been? Yeah, just early 20s. And I said, do you guys want to come? And it was so fascinating, because eventually my son said yes, his girlfriend wanted to come, so he came, and then my husband. And it was just, it was really, it's hard. The topics were hard, but I think everybody had to hear this. It's such a powerful play. And to just being gratitude up there, doing your bit, saying your bit and managing it. And wow. That was a huge get out your comfort zone. Maybe I should have done a little step first. You know, I just don't do little. I'm all in or I'm out, you know.
I love it. I watched that play some years ago. It's very, very powerful. Did you have a realization after you've stepped into such a bold, expressive role that now you can conquer and do anything?
Yeah, it did feel like that. It totally did. There's a few different things that I've done. And I think I'm due, probably. I'm just a little more in my comfort zone right now that I'm like, I don't know where I want to step for that. But it opens up on a cellular level, on your mind, on your confidence, on I really hated it, a lot of it. I hated the
Mm-hmm.
rehearsals. I hated having to put myself out there. Like, it was just like such an opposite to who I am or was or whatever, But yeah. And I remember what sort of checked it even more was after the part, months later or something, I was speaking with my son, and it was just so powerful because he actually said, seeing you do that made me realize that something bad is not necessarily going to happen if you put yourself out there. That something bad is not, that you could succeed or fail. That's irrelevant. That's not in my hands. But that you feel a little braver inside. And I thought, wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Like, I would have liked to have taught that message by talking it.
Mm-hmm.
But actually doing, which we all know is where we learn, it was a very powerful experience. But I did feel like it was a check, done, thank you, now let me move on. I don't have another goal to be in a play on the stage, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and now you work with women. So, like, do you think this experience and perhaps other experiences as well? Well, I'm curious about that experience. Did it change your relationship with your body or your feminine energy? And like, what did you take with you, or like that you still take or use while working with women?
Absolutely did, yeah, immensely. The different monologues that people spoke of, and some were sort of funny and cheeky, and some were really intense, about this incredible inner power us women have, and how important the feminine is, how important the feminine side of things is, as a superpower, not as a less than, especially the society we live in, and this awareness of a deeper love for my body, the shame and things that I maybe grew up with or society told me, and always trying to dim my light and be a little less than, physically as well, right? Yeah, definitely this changed a lot of that. The hearing my voice, and some of the monologues, one is about rape, one is about watching a mother watching the birth of the grandchild. And so there was one was Indigenous women and the girls being murdered. Just powerful, so powerful. And so it absolutely made me more aware than I ever have been, probably, on how incredible women are.
What would you say to a woman who is scared of her own power, of her own voice, because she was conditioned to not believe herself? What would you tell to that woman who's listening, watching it?
Yeah. I think we need you. We need you. We need your voice and who you truly are. We need that in this world. When you're ready, like, step up, step in, show your light. Like, somebody is waiting to hear that. Somebody is waiting to see that. And from little decisions to big decisions, I think just letting someone know, hey, we see you and we need you. We so need you.
Thank you so much. And anything that you would like to share now with the viewers and listeners? Well, what are you learning personally, or maybe in your work, shedding, integrating, stepping into, anything that you would like to share?
For me, my personal journey right now is really trusting in spirit, and that I have these interesting abilities that keep showing up that I didn't think were part of my life. Like, I didn't know they existed, like speaking with the spirit guides, animal guides, and kind of being open to, wow, what an incredible new way for me to support women. It's a different very different. And at first it was kind of scary. And some of the Reiki sessions I've done, other thoughts have come in that I realize are not mine, because I quickly go, oh no, that that's my own thought and judgment. And then you'd suddenly be like, oh, okay, that came through me. That's not mine. And so for me, that journey right now, I'm so excited to explore more of. I'm finding it a little scary, but powerful, and trusting it, letting it be that it's meant to be.
And if you are to tune in now to the energy of the viewers and listeners, what is the message from the spirit world? Whether spirit animals, I'm not going to impose, or well, what would you like to leave us with?
I think the first what comes to mind is it's your time. It's your time. It's time for you. That's no matter where you are, what stage, what age you are right now, it is your turn. It is your turn. It is your time. I can't wait. I look forward to it.
Thank you. And finally, how can people work with you? Where they can find you?
Yeah, so really, if you're not local to me, so I'm not in Scotland, I'm in Canada, just north of Toronto, would be find me on Instagram. I like to hang out there. I share different points and wisdom and breathwork and things. And online you can, we can work through, there's distance Reiki. We can work on guidance cards, ways to help find clarity as you move forward. I do yoga online for private classes, breathwork online for private classes. We're so lucky that we have online ability to meet people all around the world. So you could definitely contact me on Instagram and we can see how we could work together.
Thank you. And I'm going to add all of the links in the description of this podcast. Well, Anja, thank you so much for sharing your heart.
Oh, thank you for you. You're such a beautiful presence there. You're a wonderful way of just holding space. It was lovely.
Thank you. I truly enjoyed, and I'm sure your story, your wisdom is going to inspire so many people. Thank you again. And I want to say thank you. And goodbye to all of the viewers and listeners. Thank you for choosing presence today. Thank you for choosing growth, softness, honesty, and your own sacred path. I'm sending everyone so much love, and I'll see everyone soon. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.